In today's video, I wanted to review two things. One, I wanted to try to review the tolerances that we need to worry about for our 3D printed puzzle. The other thing I wanted to try to do is show you how I could make this into a keyed puzzle piece so that the puzzles will actually be able to be 3D printed and fit together. I don't need this on right now, so I'm just going to turn Design Layer 4 off, make that disappear, and I'll show you the two areas on this puzzle that concern me. So first, I'm going to turn the red piece off, and if we take a closer look at this puzzle, there is a spot right down on the bottom that I'm worried about. All these other parts and pieces I think would fit together fine, but down here where the white piece has to slide into this blue piece, I'm a little bit worried that that won't fit together. If I 3D print these with zero tolerance, those pieces would have to be jammed together and they would never come apart. So I'm going to try and show you how I would fix that up. There's another area that I'm concerned with, and that's right here where the white piece has to slide in to the red piece. Again, if I slide that in there, it won't be coming off very easily. So I'm worried about those two areas. So I want to try and show you how I would fix those. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off Design Layer 3 because I just want to deal with this area for right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a copy of the white piece. I'm going to make it slightly larger, and then I'm going to use that to subtract out of this blue piece on the bottom here. So I'm going to take a copy of the white piece by just doing a paste in place. Now I'm going to make that copy green just so I can tell which piece is which. There it is right underneath there. So I'm going to move that green piece, I'm going to move that to Design Layer 1 where my blue piece is. Now when I turn off Design Layer 2, I have just the green piece that I'm going to use as a cutting tool and my blue piece. Now what I'm going to do before I subtract that out of there is I'm going to make this piece just slightly bigger, 2 to 3% bigger, by just going to Modify, Scale Objects, and I could make this 2 or 3% bigger by just typing in 1.03, 1.02, and I'm going to click OK, and that made that piece just 2% bigger all around. So it's going to end up cutting a little bit off of here, a little bit off of the blue here, but my biggest worry is down here. Now, when I take that piece and I subtract it from my blue piece, you can see that now there is a real small gap here between these pieces that I was worried about. So it made that cutout slightly bigger right there where I needed it to be. Now I'm going to do the same thing for where I was worried about it fitting in to the red piece. So to do that, I'm going to make my blue piece disappear, And this is where I'm worried about it right now, the tolerance for that 3D print. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to make a copy of my white piece. I'm going to make that copy a different color so I know which piece I have selected. I'm going to move that to the same layer that my red piece is on. Now I'm going to go to Design Layer 3, turn off Design Layer 2, and now I've got that green piece that you can see is just slightly bigger than the white piece was. I'm going to take those two pieces now and subtract solids. And I'm going to cut the green piece out of the red piece. And now I've got that cutout slightly bigger than it was before. So when I turn my other pieces on, I could actually see that there's a real small gap right here where that piece was. Now those pieces should fit together, but with them only being 2% different, you won't even notice that when we have those 3D printouts. The only thing that you'll notice is that they'll slide together much easier. So that's what we need to worry about when we build the tolerances in for these pieces. Everybody's puzzle will be different. We may need to figure out different ways for the pieces that you have, but I just wanted you to have a clear understanding of how those tolerances have to be calculated and figured out before we 3D print these puzzles. Now, I'm going to turn this part off, and I'm just going to have Design Layer 4 show up here, because what I want to try and do on this is show you how I would make this into a keyed puzzle piece. So right now I just have two extruded rectangles. I'm just going to go into the front view, and I'm going to draw a piece using my polyline tool that I want to use as this gets keyed together. As I work on this, remember I can use the U key to toggle to my curve. And I'm going to just try and put a curved puzzle piece in here like we might find. And that's the shape that I'm going to try to do for this puzzle piece. Now, these cubes are extruded 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to extrude this piece 3/4 of an inch. We could use intersect solids when we do some of these, but right now what I've got is my green rectangle, my red rectangle, and my piece that I'm going to use as the key. So I'm going to go into my side view here and align these now. And I've got those all aligned right where I need those to be. Now what I'm going to do with the white piece that I designed is I'm going to make a copy of that, and that piece I'll make just slightly larger. So I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, Paste in Place, and I will make that one red. You can see that I make all these pieces different colors, just so I make sure I have the correct one selected. Now that red one, again, I'm going to make it just 2% bigger. There's the red one now. You can see that that's going to cut out slightly larger than my white piece below it. So I'm going to take the red piece, the green puzzle piece, and subtract solids. Now what that's done is it's cut a slightly bigger piece so that we have a little bit of a tolerance around there. All I'll do next is just add that white piece to my orange block. And now I've got my two pieces that are keyed, but also have enough tolerance to slide together when they're 3D printed. So that's how we can create a keyed puzzle piece. I hope this video helps. Let me know if you have any questions, but you need to evaluate your own puzzles, figure out where we need to cut a little bit more out so that when we 3D print them, they'll fit together.